we're going to talk about the cardiac output method. So when we program these long duration pieces on the bike, in between the rower, in between jump ropes, between weighted step overs, anything we might see on our Tuesday or Thursday or our cardio days, we can refer back to this cardio output method. Sometimes these pieces are longer duration. They require you to stay mentally engaged in something that's fairly monotonous, but extremely beneficial. So I wanted to go over a few of those details about why it's beneficial to you and why you should be doing it and how it's going to benefit all the other areas of training. The cardiac output method, big thing here, we're trying to increase oxygen supply by improving how effectively our heart can deliver that oxygen throughout our body. So how well can our heart pump blood out? How well can it pump to bring that blood back from everywhere else in our body? So through this, there's a couple goals that we have. 120 to 150 beats per minute for our heart rate. I want to maintain that. The session minimum should be 30 minutes plus for this to get the effective dose, to get the effective outcome that we need. 30 minutes minimum, working up to 90 minutes at maximum. It's hard to stay engaged, to even think about staying engaged for 90 minutes. But if we think about a long hike or a long ruck, 90 minutes really isn't that long. So if we take it in terms outside of the gym, where it matters the most, 90 minutes is a very small snippet of our life. So we're going to infrequently train in the higher ranges. A lot of times we'll be at minimum 30 minutes. Activities we're doing, you know what we do. We in the gym, we bike, we row. If you have a ski, we ski. We'll do weighted step overs, do any body weight movement, talking about burpees, jump ropes, rucking, weighted walks. Like to mix it up in this interval work so that it spares us becoming too monotonous. If I just wrote in 30 minutes of biking straight at this heart rate, hats off to you if you can keep that up over the course of a year. Adding in different things like we do into our programming helps us continue to progress while still mixing it up and staying engaged. And there's two different results when we talk about cardio. So one outcome from cardiac output method, eccentric cardiac hypertrophy. All this means the left ventricle of our heart is going to increase in size. The left ventricle is the one that leaves the heart where the blood is being pushed out to the rest of our body, to our muscles. So if that increases in size, that means more blood can go out into our body, to our muscles with each heartbeat. This results in a lower resting heart rate, so lower heart rate at night or when you're chilling at home. Also results in a lower working heart rate. And the other adaptation that we get from cardio is concentric cardiac hypertrophy. So this leads to an increase in the size and thickness of your heart walls. So we see this adaptation when our heart rate exceeds 150 beats per minute. It's a good adaptation. It's not a bad thing, but once we get into 150 beats per minute or more, our blood pressure is going to go way up and our heart is going to be beating so fast that we don't get that stretching of that left ventricle in order for it to increase in size to get more blood out. It's just constantly beating blood out, trying to keep up with the demands of the body. Not a bad thing. It's not the same end result as that eccentric cardiac hypertrophy, which is going to be the main driver to increase work capacity across everything that we want to do in our life, or any athletic output, any work endeavor, any hiking, hunting, you name it. Concentric cardiac hypertrophy, you might find this in stuff like high intensity training. You might find it in strength training when your heart is beating real fast after a big lift. You might find it's popular in CrossFit, AMRAPs with barbells and things like that where you're moving. You're going to create more powerful contractions with your heart. Your heart will grow in size because it's a muscle, just like similar to any other muscle in our body. It's going to get bigger as we work it. But if that left ventricle isn't also increasing in size, we're not working on that, we're not going to get more blood out. It's just going to be more powerful contractions. And very simple things like biking that 2K might spike our heart rate all the way up beyond 150. Or we might have to go so slow to that 2K because if we work any harder, our heart rate's going to get jacked up, right? So we want to work on keeping our resting heart rate low, our working heart rate low. And to do that, use the cardiac output method, specifically looking for the eccentric cardiac hypertrophy. Big ass words. So you can think about that. There's some science for your ass.